You're in your email. So go to the presentation part.
Right side, what do you see?
Inbox, you split the screen, Brother Ali. If you go on the left side,
What is that? Or how can I get rid of
go
it?
on the left side, continue going just above Gmail. There's a blue box, blue and white box. So like
So,
left, on
Awesome,
left,
are you
left.
speaking? Excuse me.
Yes,
Are
go
you?
left. I'm speaking.
Yeah. What should I do?
Go left, yeah, just below you see the blue and white box next to the refresh, just above Gmail. No, below, go below, on right, right.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
I think he's referring to the top. There is a right inbox at the very top. Underneath, there is a kind of blue things he's saying this, I guess.
No, so
Right, Asim?
you know where the
Can
link is
excuse me. I am
mail.google.com on the left side.
No, I don't understand any of you. I don't follow.
Okay, you
Now,
see the
shall I sign
URL,
out? Shall
the
I
link.
sign out and sign in again?
I think you're almost there what he's saying. Just you see the mail.google, just on the left side, there is blue things. He wants this.
Yeah.
See, there's your screen is split actually, so you just click on that icon and that will remove the splitting of the screen.
Up. No, the blue one. There is a blue, a little down. Yes, that's, I think.
Close left or right?
Left, close left.
Uh-huh. Okay. Still, I don't see myself here, and I don't see Nejati here. No. Now I see now. And now my stop share. Okay.
Okay, you can see me now?
No, but here it is. All right.
I think maybe you can reconnect if that's the case.
I am ready. I have
Everything is
so
set? Everything is set, inshallah? Okay. Okay, assalamu alaikum, everyone. Welcome to another session. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin. Wa salatu salam ala Sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala ali kulli wa sahbihi kulli ajma'in. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wa akhlul uqdatan min lisani yafqahu qawli. So if you recall, that we began our journey a long time ago, and we are continuing now every Saturday. This is our second Saturday after the Eid. And what we try to do, we try to delve into the treasure of the Quran and understand the deep wisdom and truth within the Quran. And our point here is that we are very distant from Quran. We put Quran aside from our personal life, from our social life, and that's why we got a lot of trouble. Quran is the book of guidance, is the book of wisdom, and the book of reflection. Now, last week we began talking about this aspect of the Quran, and we gave some examples on that. There was one particular ayah that Dr. Ali brought to our attention. It was really amazing. And the ayah were talking about the ulul albab, those people of thinking and reflection, and saying that they are in every state, when standing, sitting, or laying down on the side. They remember Allah, and they reflect, and they conclude as a result of their reflection and say, those all things that's happening is not for no reason. They all are the sign of Allah. They are all the things that connect us to Him. And what we learned, really the interesting part is that he shared with us in hadith, in which we learned that the Prophet, peace be upon him, before even perhaps conveying this ayah to his ummah, to the companion, he conveyed to himself. He took upon himself. He recited, reflected, cried, and till morning and the whole night. That ayah was the ayah for reflection. So in a way that when we really look at it, we see the prophets, peace be upon him, as a person of reflection, a person who look at creation and connect to the creator through the creation and revelation. And unfortunately, that side of him has been largely forgotten or ignored. And that's what we try to really bring back to our attention and see how we can have a proper understanding of the Prophet, peace be upon him, and of the Quran, and read Quran along with the creation, along with the universe. So inshallah, we're going to continue on this today even more. It's because when we say that we can connect to the creator through the creation, and obviously we get all kind of objection and say, look, the one who study creation are scientists, and they study very deeply, and they spend their day and night to study creation. And rather than really submit to the creator, they completely ignore or deny the creator, for most part, I would say, in modern times. And those who are really dealing with science and reading those kind of scientific works, they got a lot of doubt and question rather than certainty through this knowledge. So, and that's the part we really want to discuss this week. And Dr. Ali is very much involved in those kind of things as well, because he basically he exposed to those individuals with such questions that at the university in New York, particularly when people come with those questions, it's hard to ignore them. You cannot preach them in an old way. You have to face their question and come up with good answer. And I think he's going to share some of those with us today, and inshallah, and ask Allah to, help us all to have the maximum benefit from this very reflective session, inshallah. Let's start, Dr. Ali.
Now we have to get used to hearing that Quran is a guide. Quran is a guide. Now, guide, absolutely correct, is a guide. Guiding to where? I thought guiding us to reflect on what the Quran says, what the universe says, creation says, what human feelings say, and how are we going to benefit from them. That's why we have to speak about a lot how the universe is viewed by the people who are working on it, because the philosophy was effective in the history. Now philosophy finished. Now the scientists became philosophy, and they speak and interpret the universe according to their findings. Now, and their interpretation is becoming the overwhelming philosophical views in the minds of the people. So we cannot really speak nowadays without giving reference to the creation of the universe, because all the, if you like, attacks on belief is coming from the scientists who interpret the existence of the universe according to their personal understanding of existence. That is why I thought, let's talk about importance of reflection on the creation extensively, because if we are going to read the Quran today according to the requirements and necessities of today, we have to understand the Quran within our own living conditions right now. Without giving reference to the creation, we cannot defend any idea, any belief. Now, Newtonian world, never-changing world, is completely left behind. Now, which kind of world view we should have? what the Quran is referring to, inshallah, I wanted to share this kind of narrations in Islamic scholarship or Islamic history. How do they see reflection, how the reflection is really important? Let me start from here. Now, for those people who are interested in the original text, I wrote here on the slide so that they can take picture of it and investigate it. The first quotation, I was amazed to see that it was taken from Ibn Ashur at-Tahrir wa Tanwir. So the references are here. I'm not going to read the original Arabic text. I'm not going to read the reference pages. If someone interested, they can take a picture and investigate it later on. Reflection, that's what I understand, tafakkur. Now, there is a difference between tafakkur, reflection, thinking, and reflection. I like reflection better. Çünkü when you reflect on something, you are reflecting on a substantial thing. It means creation. When you say tefekkur, you may just close your eyes and think about something in your mind. That's why reflection is a better word nowadays. Maybe some hundreds years ago, tefekkur was better. That's what most of our ulama use tefekkur, the meaning of tefekkur, thinking. But nowadays, we should understand tefekkur in the meaning of reflection. Reflection, I am going to read it a bit quickly.
Dr. Ali, I think we covered this slide, that's right, until 43, 143 as well last week.
Did we cover this?
Yeah, we covered that. I think we covered this, the next one as well. If you want to go quick refreshing, that's fine, but I think we covered that hadith because the hadith is coming after that, right?
Oh, did we?
Yeah.
No, but we just gave a reference long ago. Or last time?
Yeah, last week we covered those, I think. Yeah.
Somebody confirm it?
Yeah, last week we covered until 144, even that ayah. Yeah. I think it's the...
No, I don't. No, does anybody confirm it?
Like this hadith.
Look.
Yeah, this hadith we covered that. Yeah,
Well,
see.
Last week we covered.
Yeah, yes.
Allahu Akbar.
And the next one, 144. That's the ayah basically there. I think we can, yeah, this is the ayah. The hadith was based on that ayah, essentially. But we did not go after the one. Until 144 and beyond, maybe we can start, refresh from that and go from that. I don't know.
Allahu Akbar. Did we cover this, for example?
Yes.
From Jevshan?
Yes.
Oh, for a week, it's too long for me. I forget about it.
Yes. There must be wisdom behind that as well. Allah made us forget, maybe.
Allahu Akbar.
Yeah.
So, of course, long ago, we studied this ayah.
Sure.
But just I wanted to refresh our minds.
Yeah, I think that would be great, refreshing, because that was the key point. It was revelation, and then after that, the picture we didn't see. I think the 145, it wasn't there. A new, I guess.
Did we cover this?
I don't think so. Yeah.
Anyway, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Inna fi khalq as-samawati wal-ardi wa ikhtilaf al-layli wan-nahari la ayatin li ulil albab. الذين يذكرون الله قياما وقعودا وعلى جنوبهم ويتفكرون في خلق السماوات والأرض ربنا ما خلقت هذا باطلا سبحانك فقنا عذاب النار. Indeed, in the creation of the heavens and the earth and the alternation of the night and day are signs for those of understanding, deep reflection, ulul albab, who remember God while standing or sitting or lying on their sides and reflect on the creation of the heavens and the earth, saying, Our Lord, you didn't create this for no reason. You are far above that. So protect us from the torment of the fire. Now, what is the problem? Misleading claim. Secularist scientists claim as if they are investigating existence with open-mindedness. I am investigating what this man is doing, the computer or some machines, because the universe is perfectly working, an ever-changing machine. And I have no prejudice, as if I'm looking at it and finding out this and telling how it works. But what is the trick? While they are saying that what I see, I put this wire to here and this happened. That's it, I'm innocent. So interpretation starts now. This wire makes this. But they don't really realize that. Now, this picture is supposed to show that they are within the universe, a part of the universe, and this universe is arranged by someone else, but they deny it. They deny that whatever this is symbolically, a man is working within the computer. Did I make sense? A man in scientists inside the glowing supercomputer universe. Now, within the universe, they see, look, this wire or this relationship ends or results in this conclusion. And that is what it is. So they say the cause and effect relationship happens by itself. Now, let me read it. Why does the Quran insist on encouraging human beings to think about the creation of everything? The question, why? Why does something exist rather than nothing? Now, the question that the people are talking nowadays, started talking nowadays, why does something exist rather than nothing? For example, why this wire exists here? How did it come? How did it come? For example, they say everything is energy, right? And nowadays, people start talking and questioning, how come this energy existed? They say from the beginning. Okay, how come from the beginning it existed? Because they are looking at the universe within the universe and saying that everything is happening by itself within the universe. Now, the answers vary, but all of them are nothing but speculations with no evidence at all about, look, what they say, for example, the scientist is finding the, let's say, a red wire here, and the red wire, when I connect this red wire, it happens. That's what it is. But the question is, if I could explain this method is extremely important. How come this red wire existed? How come the connection existed? How come the result existed? But this is within the universe, within the computer, because they are, think about a computer, and we are a part of the computers, within the computers. And they say, here it is, everything, existence is what we are seeing, that's it. They never say that, oh, how this universe existed, whether some billions years ago or now, how this existed. That is why uh, questioning the existence of anything is not answered by any scientists and any interpreters of the scientific findings. Existence side is not answered and thought and discussed. But nowadays they start talking about this. This question, why is there anything at all rather than nothing, is the main problem of the 21st century scientists. No answer. What do they say? We will, inshallah, study that. Now, existence, I'm reading here, existence with all its unimaginable qualities manifested in their existence is taken for granted. We have to understand this. We have to understand this. That is a wire here. There is the universe here. That's it. Why should I ask any more questions? Now, taken for granted, existence is not questioned. Now they started, but it is not answered at all. There is no answer. They admit this if you study them. Anyways, they claim that outside the universe, why has no meaning. Now, I have to make a clarification here. It is essential. The Muslims are usually and very superficially making a separation between how and why, and saying how answers by the scientists, how it is working. Why is answered, the question why, is answered by religion, wahi, revelation. The why is the field of the religion, how is the field of science. This is absolutely nonsense. Qur'an never says why this universe existed. Qur'an always says how the universe existed, how something existed. The typical examples, how the camel existed, how كيف بنيناها وزيناها. كيف means how, not why. Why means لماذا. So كيف, for example, أفلم ينظروا إلى الإبل كيف خلقت, how it is created. وإلى السماء كيف رفعت. كيف But nowadays, scientists asking why question, for example, why human beings existed? No, they don't mean that. Human beings have eyes, for example. I think if we clarify, Dr. Najati, today, what why means, what why means that nowadays the scientists are struggling with no answer at all. I have eyes. No. What happened? This cell worked in this way. They say evolved in this way. Okay. And cell uh, improved itself, perfected itself in this way. Why? What is the reason they mean now? They mean now. What is the reason this cell is functioning in this way? For example, they question gravity. Why the compass points to the north? They don't know. If you do this, for example, this alternative electric, positive and negative turns, and then electric is produced. They say, why the electric energy is produced when positive and negative signs are turned? Why? There is no scientific explanation at all. That is what they see. Oh, it happens. Then we have to say, how it happens? Is there any reason that magnet should show the north? Why? There is no reason in the matter. Now, why doesn't mean, as we used to think, why human beings are created to worship God. No, no, no. The question why is now the big problem for the materialist scientists. They don't have any answer to this. Did I explain it?
Okay.
But look, the claim that here, this one I'm reading, the claim that outside the universe, why has no meaning? Why? That is what I see here happening. That's how it is. That is how it is. For example, when I look at a tree, certain season happens, weather becomes warmer, and water is observed by the tree roots, and fruit happens. That's what I see. That's what I see. Why the carbon turns into an orange? What is the reason? That's how it is happening. We don't know, look, we don't know the underlying mechanisms yet, or no confirmed theory yet, because they cannot confirm. Why the magnet happens, they don't know. What is the nature of electric? They don't know. Because they are inside the universe. They say what we see, that is the reality. I don't think I am really explaining it well. Their main claim is this: the universe didn't pop into existence inside some pre-existing time and space. It brought its own time and space with it. Look at this sentence. That is the latest claim. It brought its own time and space with it. Look, if I say the thing created itself, it sounds illogical, is it? If I say the thing created itself. They know this perfectly. They are very smart people. If, for example, I created myself, the simple example, impossible to accept. Why? I should exist in order to create myself, right? If I exist, why should I need to create? Nonsense sentence. It is oxymoron. So what they say here now, they don't say the thing is created themselves. I don't know whether I have. I'm excited about the subject, but I found it difficult to explain. But the universe is there.
May I jump in a little bit to give you some thinking break? Yeah. So I think what you really explaining it's extremely important. Point to the problem. Now, the problem on existence, or to go with Arabic term, is wujud, mawjood. And it's to really, recently what I learned that the very concept of wujud is also has the root with wajada. Wajada is to seek some things. So which means that the wujud is out there. When you ask, when you look at it, it will lead you to find its source. So therefore, it's the very wording in wujud and wajada, it's very much linked to each other. And then the question is like, what is really the essence of this mawjood out there, and how, and in this case, how this is going to lead to the wajibul wujud, that in terms of the basically the being behind all the being. I think that is the key part that we try to, in a way, look at. So materialist scientists, they look at the creation, stay in the matter, and they make an assumption that there is nothing beyond that. Like your analogy of that you're in computer and you, in this case, make an assumption there is nothing beyond computer, then how I'm going to explain the computers by itself without really referring to anyone outside, like engineer. So in this case, that all explanation about that how you get particular arrangement, particular properties, it's completely become nonsense, because you begin with the wrong assumption and you try to assume there is no engineer, no maker of computer, and computer is just nothing but the arrangement of the pieces, and those pieces itself can address your question of how they came to be, why they exist. So in this case, I think we generally ask three questions. We say, what question, how question, why questions. So your point is that science cannot how question as well in materialistic lens. I think it's very, very essential, because in our 5D workshops, when we ask people, most people will say science answer how and what question, but cannot answer why question. Religion answer why question. That's what you mentioned. But in reality, when we get them to think, we clearly find out the secular science cannot answer how question at all. And the Quran is inviting you to focus on how question. So, and if you focus on that, truly understand how something exists, how something gains certain property, how something you find as particular arrangement, particular beauty, particular benefit, that is going to lead you to find the maker behind that. So therefore, in this regard, I think that if we truly understand the wujud, then we can understand, that will help us, wajada, to go and find the wajibul wujud behind this mawjud. So that's what I think in Arabic, even the very wording is beautiful. And I think if we truly reflect on that, we see that Muslim scholar categorize the creation, look at the, define the creator as a wajibul wujud, look at the creation as the reflection, and try to look at the creation within this lens to give the meaning and understanding of what they observe. So what you're saying here, scientists, they reject that one. They, in a way, put themselves in just narrow one material dimension, and they cannot get out of this box to find the answer to the great question.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know, did I get it right, what you were saying?
The out of the box is box of the universe.
Correct.
Now, that is my point. My point was, just in summary, although scientists say we are explaining how the things are working, they are not explaining how the things are working. They are taking the picture of it and demonstrating the picture, and how this picture came into existence, they have no answer. Not why it came into existence, no, how it came to existence, how magnetic field happened, they have no answer. They say, I found magnetic field here, I found electron here, I found, for example, the universe itself brought its own time and space within. No, the universe itself. Can you imagine? Universe itself brought its own time and space with it. Where did it brought it? How? Which kind of quality it has? No, that's what I found. That's what we found. Oh,
Yeah. So
an able person should explain this.
Yeah, but let me give one more example to make it clear. The way we give, we say water. Water is very good example, I believe, for that. Now, when you ask scientists, tell me what is water? They say, oh, water is two hydrogen and oxygen. Then you say, what is hydrogen? Or they say hydrogen is one electron, one proton. What is oxygen? Is 8 electron, 8 proton. Perfectly fine. How did you find that? Oh, I observed that. That is what question. But then now you ask question, you say, how did we get the property of water? How the water turn out to be as it is? And is it something from hydrogen and oxygen? They say, no, it's neither from hydrogen nor from oxygen. We just happen to find the water to have this feature. And they came up with actually wording. The wording they use, they call it its emergent properties. Naturally, when two hydrogen and oxygen come together, the property of water just emerge. We say, what do you mean? This is hocus pocus properties? Is this magic happening?
Why do they attract each other? Why?
Exactly.
Where did they get this property?
And why, when they attract each other, again, this extremely beneficial properties? Why? There is no answer to that. That's why I say
this is how it happens.
Exactly. No, they call it, they say it's natural. It's natural. It's the law of nature. It's always happened this way. And they call it, this is, then they name it. They say, oh, this is, we call it emergent properties, which means those properties just emerge. What do you mean? No answer. No answer. And I think that's is really one of the main points that we try to in 5D as well highlight. I cannot, highlight the importance of this point more because I believe that we get the misperception as if science answer how question. It cannot answer how question without creator. That's the point. So therefore I say, if you want to really do science without God, then focus on what question only? Observation, take the picture, describe it, stop there. Say, period. I don't have answer. But they don't say that. They say, I have answer to all questions. Don't go to religion. Don't go to philosophy. Let me explain, but I think it's complete nonsense.
No, trick.
Yes.
Tricky language. Let's go this one. Now, Stephen, let me read it. Stephen Hawking suggested something which has no evidence at all. Just a baseless claim. What did he say? The universe can be self-contained. Look at the language. Cannot say the universe created itself. It's nonsense. But there is another way of saying the same thing. Look, self-contained. Let's remember at this point, God is absolute being, and he is Qa'im bizat, Qa'im bizat, self-sustaining or self-existing. Now, what did they say? Universe created itself. What do they mean this? Because universe is continuously changed, that it has an creator. So creator of the universe should be self-subsistent. Universe cannot be self-subsistent, self-existing, because it is continuously being subject to change. Self-existing thing is or doesn't depend on something else. Universe is continuously changed. Who's changing it? Who is recreating it? Anywhere. Now these are what they say. Feynman would be more cautious and say, show me the equations and experiments that universe is self-contained. Now, what is the self-contained? That is what we are touching here. That's what we are touching. As if saying that computer works by itself. How does it work by itself? Show me. And of course, no answer. Feynman himself says in his book, The Value of Science, what then is the meaning of it all? What do you mean by it is self-subsisting? What can we say to dispel the mystery of existence? Existence is important. If we take everything into account, not only what the ancients knew, but all of what we know today. This man, Feynman, died in somewhere there. The book is written this in 1955. It's quite late. Now, what can we say to dispel the universe of existence? Dispel the mystery of existence. If we take everything into account, not only what the ancients knew, but all of what we know today, they didn't know, then I think that we must frankly admit that we don't know.
Yeah, baby. We just should. Come on.
Excuse me. Now, we don't know. This is a Nobel Prize winner anyway. And then he says, our responsibility is to do what we can, learn what we can, improve the solutions, and pass them on. Finish. No answer about existence. We don't know why something exists there rather than something else. Now, that means we don't know yet, we must admit, but we should exploit the unclaimed universe, because the Muslims are not, students of the Qur'an are not claiming the universe and studying the universe from Quranic point of view. Unclaimed universe until we die, however we please, we found it out of nowhere. We found this universe, however it happened, use it, exploit it, benefit from it, and die away. The bottom line, the self-contained theory, that is what everybody calls there, claims that it explains why the Big Bang doesn't need a prior cause in time. Why? Because they don't know. For example, the computer is here. How did it happen from the beginning? They don't know. And what they say, okay, prior cause in that. Who started the existence of the computer as we are observing now? That is not our business. So, the computer doesn't need an engineer, it means. It's happening by itself. The prior cause in time. But it doesn't fully answer why there is existence rather than non-existence. Why the computer exists rather than no computer at all. That question sits at the boundary where, look, at the boundary where physics hands off to philosophy, and neither has a complete answer yet. The scientist is saying this. Neither scientists, nor philosophers have no complete answer yet. It remains one of the most profound open questions humans have ever asked. That's what they say. It means Big Bang happened. What? How? No answer. Afterwards, the things are, as you said, the simple example. Oxygen and carbon dioxide, whatever, hydrogen,
Yes.
attract. Why do they attract? Do they have any quality from themselves? No, 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 no. We say that's how they are. Okay, let me see that. Now, we have to know this man. If somebody is studying the science subject, must know Wittgenstein, must know. This man lived in 1889, 1951, died. His Tractatus Logico-Philosophicus, whatever is name, published in 91 and 75 pages only. I read this. 75 pages only. Long ago I read it. Now, it was written with the aim of defining the relationship between reality and language and delineating the boundaries of science. Now, in this book, what it says, Proposition 6.5, very difficult book. It's hard to understand. But it doesn't mean it is difficult, doesn't mean you don't understand. But we have to read it carefully. What do they say? Look, what does he say? The question of life's meaning, if it cannot be put into words, but look at this language, Dr. Najati and our friends here. If I cannot put it into, it's a linguist, by the way, the philosophy of philosophy in linguistic science. So, but they found this all this materialist idea, the source of materialist idea. Interpretations nowadays goes back to Wittgenstein. We have to be very careful. Now, the question of life's meaning, if it cannot be put into words, because I cannot put into words, cannot be answered, and perhaps cannot even be properly asked. So, for example, I am in the universe, right? He says, why the universe exists? I am asking now, why the universe exists? It is out of the universe. We cannot ask this question because I am asking the source of existence of the universe. This man is saying, why the universe exists? What is the source of its existence? He says, no, you cannot ask this question. Why? It goes beyond your scope of observation. Look, it goes beyond your scope of observation. So we cannot ask this. What we do, we have to look at the universe and see how it works by itself, automatically. That is why nowadays scientists uses this man with Wittgenstein's theory to say that Hawking's used this language, the same thing. Universe itself is self-contained, self-contained. That's it. And we cannot really ask the question, a prior cause in time. They say, if you say, what caused the first explosion, Big Bang? A prior cause, I am asking, in time. It says, it's not my question. It happened, that's it. But how did it happen? No. We are going out of the universe. We cannot ask this question. The justification comes from here. Another proposition, anyway, those people who are expert on it, they will know better than I do. The famous closing line, his famous word is, whereof one cannot speak, thereof one cannot be silent, must be silent, sorry. Meaning, well, it's very famous, his saying. All scientists know it by heart. This meaning, questions that transcend language and logic are outside the domain of meaningful discourse. Now, this sentence is so essential, I asked AI to translate it. In Turkish, dilimin sınırları dünyamın sınırlarıdır. The other one is I think Urdu. So Arabic here, hududu lugati hiya hududu alami. It means hudud alem. It means my universe. Now, I can speak only within the conditions of the universe. Now, who created the universe? Dr. Necati, be careful. The answer goes beyond the universe. Who made the computer goes beyond the computer, right? Does it make sense? So what Wittgenstein say, this question is nonsense. Look at this. Trick. Who made the computer? What are you talking? Computer represents the universe, okay? Now, what are you talking about? This question goes beyond the universe. So it goes beyond my world. It goes beyond my world. So this question is meaningless. When I read his book, I said, this man is crazy, cheating people. Now, anyways, somebody wants to investigate in it. It's a very exciting subject, but unfortunately, I cannot explain it as it deserves to be. Why then, what they mean, if I step outside the boundaries of my world, I cannot ask a meaningful question. That's what he claimed. This means meaningful expression is limited to the realm of reality. To ask a question outside that realm is to push language beyond its natural capacity. It means asking the computer represents the universe, don't misunderstand. Who made this computer? Who put this one here? How it happened here goes outside of the computer. So it is not legitimately expressed. It means this question is nonsense. Look at how they block the way. Who is the creator? Block the way. Who is the creator? Who is the maker? Who is the maker of energy? Who is the maker of electricity? Who is the maker of magnetic field? Who? It happened like this. And when you say ask when you ask, how come it existed? How come it existed? They say it is not a legitimate question. Look at this. I don't know. I understand, but I cannot explain this. Now, I will read it again. Tractatus, again, the same book. On now, I have quotations from there. On why existence itself is the mystical question. Right? Existence itself is a mystical question. You know, vücut, Dr. Necati, is a mystical question, mystical, not scientific. Look at this human mind, human nature, human qualities are totally ignored. I'm asking, who put it there? Who made it there? Now, in my daily life, I always ask this mystical question. If I find, for example, a parcel in front of my door, and my name is on it, I said, who sent it? And this man is saying, it's a mystical question. You found the parcel, take it. Do you understand? No, I cannot explain it. No. Now, let me read it. It is not how things are in the world. That is mystical. How things are in the world. This is mystical. But that it exists, that's what we say. It exists. I found the parcel in front of my door and take it. That's it. Now, let's be careful. Existence is taken for granted because they cannot explain how it exists and why it exists. Science cannot explain how something exists. They say it exists at all. Finish. That's what I found it. Oxygen and hydrogen attracts each other. That's it. How does it attract? Where this attraction quality came from? This is labeled as by the scientists mystical question. It goes beyond my capacity. And this expression cannot be used. Forget about it, it means. Wittgenstein is saying that the fact that anything exists at all rather than nothing belongs to the realm of the mystical, which is beyond what language and science can address. Do you understand? Oh, language and science cannot address, because language and science cannot go beyond the universe, asking them, who made it? How it came into existence? When you ask the very question, every time you say, now there is, let's say, the law of gravity, right? How law of gravity existed? They say this is mystical question. Do you see the trick? If you see the trick, you know what the Quran means. Look at the universe, how we created it. Now, why they say, so this is beyond. I am asking, why beyond? Why it's beyond? My mind is asking. I am asking and I am wondering about, time is so. I am asking and I am wondering about a subject which directly concerns my human feelings. I am wondering, who put this parcel in front of who sent this parcel in front of my door? Without meaning, I cannot live. These are my language. Is there anything in the universe whose existence is meaningless? Why are you blocking asking the how something exists question by saying that it is mystical and beyond science and philosophy? What shall we do? Time is up.
Yeah, we had also some comment and question. I think this is a deep, obviously subject, so I think we need to continue more, inshallah, next week on that. Maybe we
Allah,
can.
I won't forget again.
No, inshallah, we can remind you on that next one. So let's me briefly really highlight the key point that we discussed, and then there were two, I think, comment and question. I don't know if you could address that. Maybe that would be good as well. Very briefly. And there was a comment. Maybe I will ask Sister Sakina to bring to our attention. So briefly, let me summarize what we're really trying to understand. So the key part here is to why Quran invite us to reflect on the creation, and if science is reflecting on creation, why the science in a way not leading to the creator? And what we find out essentially, science is not asking right question, or science is blocking us even to ask right question. Or in other words, the ideology that's shaping the secular scientist mind of preventing them to even ask the right question. So in that case, the key part here is that when you essentially limit yourself to the material reality and making an assumption that there is nothing beyond that, and not only that, then going and forcing the others to not even think there is anything beyond that, and again referring to our analogy of computer, and try to understand how the computer works with the assumption that there is absolutely nothing beyond computer. Now we're going to understand how the computer comes to be and have this function by itself. So without engineer, in a way that we're saying that don't even think there is an engineer out there. That's you are completely forbidden to think that. That's mystical things that people do when they don't have a scientific lens. So our point is that why we shouldn't ask this question. The question of how something exists, how some property exists, how some function exists, how some arrangement exists, how something exists rather than do not exist, then that is very human question. And the Quran is all about the how question. فانظر إلى آثار رحمة الله كيف يحيي الأرض بعد موتها. So كيف here is how this is happening. It's not why this is happening. So in this case, to understand how something happening, that means you really need to ask the question, is it the part by itself making all these things? Is it the quality coming from those particles? Or is there someone outside this material reality giving this quality to the material reality? So that is the question. And I think your point, if we somehow ask those questions and try to really look at the answer from secular science, we find the answer is complete nonsense, is illogical. But unfortunately, that's nonsense things has become dominant one, and that's nonsense way become a methodology and a way of studying the universe. That empiricism in this regard, I think, limiting the reality to the material observation with assumption there is nothing beyond matter. And I think that is a big, big problem. And that's why I think when you kind of nailing down this core issue and say, look, if you can understand this issue, that is going to solve a lot of problem for us. I truly understand that why you put emphasis on this. But inshallah, we'll continue on this next week to just bring more examples and clarification, and to understand the existence in a true sense as we ask the big questions.
We will study the ayats, inshallah, ayats of the Quran, inviting us to reflect on the creation of either the universe and all the heavens and earth and all particular objects in this world here. For practical reasons, Quran gives all these examples, mostly from the world that we are experiencing here in this earth that we are living, human beings live. And we will find out that Quran never asks, invites the reader to reflect why. Why? For example, dates exist. Why camel exists? Why mountains are like this? We realize that there is no such question in the Quran asks why. Only we created human beings to worship us. They say, this is why. No, the Quran invites the reader to reflect on creation and think about how it happens. For example, I press on this in my keyboard, on this key, it happens on the screen this. Quran says how it happens there. Electric goes there. How electric goes there? How program works there? How? That is why we have to understand that without the universe, we cannot appreciate the message of the Quran without the evidence of the universe. That is what the principle of the Quran itself is. Inshallah, we will continue on it. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. سبحانك لا علم لنا إلا ما علمتنا إنك أنت العليم الحكيم وآخر دعوانا إن الحمد لله رب العالمين بحرمة سر سورة الفاتحة.
So inshallah, then we will address those questions as well next week, because we have some questions in the chat. One or two questions, so we can address them as well. We don't want to really ignore them. Sister Sakina, if you can copy those questions, inshallah, so we can.
Let me copy as well.
Okay.
Where is this? Which questions are there?
It's in the chat.